Chelsea's transfer revolution, new faces and big changes ahead. Picture this. You wake up one morning and your favorite football club has completely changed its attack. New players are walking through the doors while familiar faces are packing their bags. Sounds like a dream or a nightmare depending on how you look at it, right? Well, this is exactly what's happening at Chelsea right now. Let's start with the good news that's already confirmed. Estevao Willian, the 18-year-old Brazilian sensation, has officially joined Chelsea from Palmeiras. This isn't just any signing, this is a player who scored against us in the Club World Cup quarterfinals and still ended up wearing our shirt. The young winger has been making waves in Brazil for months. Since agreeing to join Chelsea 14 months ago, he's established himself as a key player for Palmeiras and earned his first senior cap for Brazil. That's pretty impressive for someone who just turned 18, isn't it? What makes Estevao special? He's got pace, skills, and most importantly, he's not afraid of the big stage. Remember that goal he scored against us in the Club World Cup? Most players would have been nervous facing the world champions. Not Estevao. He took his chance and nearly knocked us out. Now he's at Cobham, training with his new teammates and getting ready for life as a Blue. The question is, will he go straight into the first team or spend time developing? Given his age and the competition for places, expect him to feature gradually as he adapts to English football. The Xavi Simons saga, are we getting our man? If you've been following Chelsea news lately, you'll know we've been linked with RB Leipzig's Xavi Simons for weeks. The 22-year-old Dutch international has been on our radar, and it looks like we're finally making progress. What's the latest? Reports suggest Simons has agreed personal terms with Chelsea despite interest from Bayern Munich. That's huge news because Bayern don't usually lose out on players they really want. The fact that Simons chose us over them says something about our project, doesn't it? The price tag? We're looking at around €70 million, which is about £61 million. That's serious money, but for a player who scored 11 goals and provided 8 assists last season, it might be worth it. Here's what's interesting. Leipzig seems to have accepted they're going to lose him. They didn't include him in their recent friendly against Atalanta, which usually means a transfer is close. They're even looking at Liverpool's Harvey Elliott as a replacement. But why do we need Simons when we've already signed so many attacking players? Simple, he's versatile. He can play multiple positions across the front line, which gives the manager options. In modern football, having players who can adapt to different roles is crucial. Ganacho, the United target that makes sense. This one might surprise some people. Chelsea are reportedly interested in Manchester United's Alejandro Ganacho. Yes, you read that right, we want a player from our rivals. The 21-year-old Argentine hasn't featured in United's pre-season, which suggests he's not in Ruben Amorim's plans. That's good news for us because it means he might be available for around £50 million. Why would Ganacho want to join us? Think about it from his perspective. He's young, talented, and wants regular playing time. At United, he's clearly not wanted. At Chelsea, he could be part of an exciting new project with other young talents like Estevao. The only problem? We're reportedly reluctant to pay the full £50 million asking price. This could drag on, but United need to balance their books, especially with their own transfer targets. Sometimes these situations work out better than expected. Jackson's future, stay or go. Here's where things get complicated. Nicholas Jackson, our current striker, might be on his way out despite preferring to stay at the club. With the arrivals of Liam Delap and João Pedro, Jackson has dropped down the pecking order. This raises some important questions. Is Jackson good enough to lead our attack? Last season had its ups and downs for the Senegal striker. He showed flashes of brilliance but also had periods where he struggled to find the net. Newcastle are reportedly interested, especially if they miss out on Benjamin Sesko from Leipzig. Italian clubs like Milan are also sniffing around. But here's the thing, Chelsea want around £80 million for Jackson. That's a lot of money for a player who hasn't fully proven himself yet. Would selling Jackson be the right move? It depends on who we bring in to replace him. If Simons and Garnacho arrive, we'll have plenty of attacking options. But striker is a specialized position, and you need someone who knows where the goal is. The new arrivals, building for the future. Let's not forget the players who have already joined. João Pedro from Brighton brings Premier League experience and a proven goal-scoring record. Liam Delap from Manchester City is a young striker with huge potential. Jamie Gittins adds pace and directness to our wing options. These signings show a clear strategy. We're mixing experience with youth, Premier League knowledge with international talent. It's a balanced approach that should serve us well in the coming seasons. But here's the big question, How will all these players fit together? We can't play them all at once, and some will inevitably be disappointed with their game time. Managing so many attacking talents will be one of the biggest challenges for our coaching staff. What this means for Chelsea's style of play. With so many new attacking players, we might see a change in how Chelsea play. More pace on the wings, more creativity in midfield, and more options in the final third. That sounds exciting, doesn't it? ESTEVAO brings that Brazilian flair we've been missing. Simons offers versatility and goal threat from multiple positions. Ganacho would add pace and directness. These aren't just random signings, they fit a particular style of play. The question is whether our current system can accommodate all this talent. We might need to be more flexible tactically, switching between formations depending on the opposition. That's not necessarily a bad thing. The best teams adapt their style based on the situation. The financial side, can we afford all this? Let's talk numbers for a moment. Simons could cost £61 million. Garnacho might be £50 million. Add in the fees for Pedro, Dilap, and Gittins, and we're looking at a massive summer spend. How can Chelsea afford all this? The answer lies partly in player sales. If Jackson goes for £80 million, that covers a lot of the incoming fees. Maduke's move to Arsenal also brings in money. It's about balancing the books while improving the squad. But there's always a risk with big spending. What if the new players don't adapt quickly? What if injuries hit at the wrong time? Football is unpredictable, and expensive signings don't always guarantee success. Fan reactions, excitement mixed with caution. How are Chelsea fans reacting to all this activity? The mood seems to be cautiously optimistic. Everyone loves new signings, especially young talents with potential. But there's also awareness that we need to be smart about our spending. Some fans are worried about having too many similar players. Others are excited about the attacking options we'll have. Most seem to agree that change was needed after recent seasons, but whether this is the right change remains to be seen. The ESTEVAO signing has been particularly well received. Fans love the fact that we've beaten other big clubs to his signature. The Simons potential deal is also generating excitement, though some question whether we need another attacking midfielder. What about the defense? Here's something worth thinking about. We're spending a lot on attack, but what about defense? Yes, we've brought in attacking players, but football is about balance. You need to be solid at the back to win trophies. Are we neglecting defensive reinforcements? Or is the plan to outscore opponents rather than keep clean sheets? Only time will tell, but successful teams usually have strong defenses as well as exciting attacks. The manager's challenge. Imagine being the Chelsea manager right now. You have all these talented attacking players, but you can only pick 11 for each game. How do you keep everyone happy? How do you create a system that gets the best out of all this talent? It's a nice problem to have, but it's still a problem. Player management will be crucial. Some players will need to be patient, others will need to adapt to new positions. The manager will need to be very clever about rotation and team selection. Comparisons with other big clubs. How does Chelsea's transfer activity compare with other top clubs? Manchester City are being more careful with their spending. Arsenal have made targeted signings. Liverpool are being relatively quiet. Chelsea's approach is more aggressive. We're trying to build something special quickly rather than gradually. It's risky, but it could pay off if the new players gel together. The question is whether we're learning from past mistakes or repeating them. Remember when we signed lots of attacking players before but couldn't make it work? Let's hope this time is different. Looking ahead, what success looks like. So what would make this transfer window a success? Obviously, winning trophies would be the ultimate measure. But in the short term, we need to see improvement in our style of play and results. Integration of new players is key. ESTEVAO needs time to adapt to English football. Simons, if he joins, needs to fit into our tactical system. Ganacho would need to hit the ground running if he arrives. Success also means finding the right balance. Having options is good, but having unhappy players on the bench is bad for team spirit. The challenge is keeping everyone motivated and ready. The risk factor. Let's be honest about the risks involved. Buying young players is always a gamble. They might not adapt to the Premier League. They might get injured. They might not live up to their potential. There's also the risk of having too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. If everyone thinks they should be starting, it can create problems in the dressing room. Squad harmony is just as important as individual talent. Financial risk is another consideration. If these signings don't work out, we'll have spent a lot of money for little return. That could impact future transfer windows and our ability to compete. The competition factor. One thing working in Chelsea's favor is the competition for places. When players know they have to fight for their spot, they usually perform better. Healthy competition can bring out the best in everyone. But there's a fine line between healthy competition and too much competition. If players feel they have no realistic chance of playing, they might become disruptive or want to leave. Finding the right balance is crucial. International experience matters. One positive aspect of our potential signings is their international experience. Estevao has played for Brazil. Simons represents the Netherlands. Ganacho plays for Argentina. This experience at the highest level should help them adapt to the pressures of playing for Chelsea. International players often bring different perspectives and styles of play. This diversity can be valuable, especially in big matches where experience matters. The youth development angle. Chelsea have always prided themselves on developing young talent. These signings fit that philosophy. We're not just buying established stars, we're investing in players who can grow with the club. This approach makes sense from both sporting and financial perspectives. Young players have resale value if things don't work out. They also have more time to adapt to our style and culture. Fan expectations and patience. Here's something important to consider: fan expectations. When you spend big money on exciting players, fans expect immediate results. But integration takes time, especially for young players moving to a new league. Will Chelsea fans be patient if results don't come immediately? Recent history suggests patience isn't our strong suit. But these signings deserve time to prove themselves. The window isn't over yet. Remember, the transfer window is still open. More players could arrive, and some current players might still leave. The situation is fluid, and things could change quickly. What seems certain is that Chelsea are committed to changing their attacking options. Whether all the reported deals happen remains to be seen, but the intent is clear. Conclusion: cautious optimism is the way forward. So where does this leave us Chelsea fans? The transfer activity certainly looks exciting on paper. Young, talented players with international experience and proven track records. What's not to like? But football isn't played on paper. These players need to adapt, gel together, and perform when it matters. The manager needs to find the right system and manage all the egos and expectations. The smart approach is cautious optimism. Be excited about the potential, but realistic about the challenges. Change takes time, and building a successful team is about more than just buying good players. Will these signings transform Chelsea into title contenders? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: next season is going to be very interesting for Chelsea fans. We'll have new faces to watch, new combinations to try, and hopefully, new reasons to be excited about our club's future. The transfer revolution is in full swing at Stamford Bridge. Whether it leads to glory or disappointment remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure: it won't be boring. And sometimes, that's exactly what football fans need to keep believing in their team's potential for greatness. What do you think about all these changes? Are we building something special, or are we taking too many risks? Only time will tell, but the journey promises to be fascinating either way.